Hello, everybody. Thank you so much to Megan Best for joining us today, one of the stars of the new limited series on Lifetime, Busey Andrews Dawn. You may also know her from the Freeform series, The Watchful Eye, and many, many other incredible projects. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, Kiara.
And as I was saying at the beginning of the interview, people may also know you from the Freeform show, The Watchful Eye, where you
Yes.
played Darcy Ayres. And tell us a bit also, what drew you to this role? What fascinates you the most about it? And also, how did you prepare for playing Darcy in The Watchful Eye?
What drew me to Darcy? I loved how I feel there was this sense of like play with her, especially I'd say in my audition. And then when I got there, obviously, um, working with the other actors, it kind of molded her into somebody different. But I just felt like every time I was playing her, it just felt so playful and bouncy. Just working with everybody else, and also just I think like she's just to her roots like a good person, and she was tested and had a lot of um, tests morally, just trying to navigate being a young girl and also figure out how to balance taking care of her father, um, while also doing the right thing. And I think it even made me question like what I would do in that situation, if I was put in her shoes. Um, and I think especially like I didn't like there's she has an arc over the series if um, you get a chance to watch it, but she is very, I don't want to say different from the beginning to the end, because in my opinion I think she does stay very true like to who she is deep down, but the choices that she's making are definitely questionable, and I think that it kind of leaves viewers wondering like what her intentions are, um, in especially the last episode, and why she does what she does. But I think I did love that she was just a good person, and she just loved everybody so much. Sorry,
Yeah.
I rambled.
No, absolutely, no worries.
And what
And
was,
was
sorry, what was the
there
second?
how did you prepare for the role?
How did I prepare? That's a great question. Um I read Jane Austen books. Funny enough, because um in the audition or the breakdown, it said that she was the kind of girl that would read Jane Austen.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, maybe I'll read her material. And I also am a huge fan of like finding pieces of music that kind of make me think of the character, make me think of what she's going through, make me think of what she might listen to in this situation. I heavily relied on that. Um, I I developed a very strong bond with my castmates, especially my castmate Grace Kaufman, who plays my sister Bennet. Um, and we spent a lot of time together, which I think really, really helped. Like just like our comfortability and our sisterly bond. And I do consider like her a sister in real life. We became so incredibly close, and I love her to death. Um, but the whole cast, I think, just like I'm a huge fan of just getting to know everybody that you're working with and developing relationships with people, um, outside of work, and it helps me so much. Um, and I think those are the main things that I did, and just did a lot of reflection, looked at my own relationship with my father, because her relationship with her dad is so significant in this story. And yeah, so
And what's in the was there any particular scene that you can like define your favorite one to film as Darcy?
Ooh, I would say, oh, there were so many that I love. Like I have this, it's so funny that Chris Redman, who plays my father, Dick, um, I love him so much. And him and I like have such an important connection in the show, but we didn't have too many scenes together, unfortunately. I loved my scenes with him. Even though they're very short, he was always fun to play with. Like the scene where I take the tray into the bedroom and he just has this cute little banter with me, and it's just one little sweet moment. But and then there's so many. I love the scene with Elliot and Darcy in like the office where they have like their first kiss. I think it's
Yeah.
very sweet. And Lex is just so wonderful to work with. Lex Lumpkin, he's awesome. He's very like he really likes to play and kind of he's so easy to bounce off of and work with. Um, yeah, I had such a fun time working with him. He's just so in it and he's just great. So I love that scene. I think it's very sweet.
That's beautiful. And unfortunately, we've just learned a few days ago that the Watchful Eye has been cancelled by the network.
Yeah.
What was your reaction when you learned about it? Were you expecting it, or
I was heartbroken. I was so sad. I've been texting my castmates a little bit and we're all pretty torn up about it. I it's hard to say. I've never done a TV show before. And so I didn't really know what to expect. Um, I don't know how much I'm allowed to say. I think that we were very hopeful for a season two. And I think there was just so much that we wanted to explore. I know there was so much I wanted to explore with Darcy. There were so many unanswered questions with Elena. Um, I was really hoping for it, and the cards just didn't fall that way, unfortunately. I'm not too sure why. The industry is obviously in a very tough spot right now for a lot of people, so that definitely, I'm sure, played a factor. But yeah, I'm just really grateful to all the fans that watched the show and that enjoyed season one. And I had an amazing time on it, and I love every single person a part of it. So
and
yeah,
we
I hope.
we all loved it. Personally,
Oh,
I watched it all, the
oh,
show, and I really loved it. And
you.
we were all so sad about the news, and we were hopeful about a season two as well. And there were, as you said, there were so many unanswered questions, but who knows? Maybe the show can find a new home somewhere.
You know what? That's what people have been telling me. Who knows? Everything happens in the right timing, and
Yeah.
nothing's impossible. Never say never. So I'm staying hopeful.
Yeah. And now a little fun question that we always ask to the people we're interviewing. And considering we were talking about UC Andrews Dawn and also the Watchful Eye, uh, I am asking you if you could switch roles with any other character, both on the Watchful Eye and UC Andrews Dawn separately, of course, apart from the ones that you actually playing, like Darcy and Christy. Which
Yes.
character would you love to play if you could, and why?
Ooh, okay. For Dawn in Midnight Whispers, I think I would play, maybe Fern or Fern, is played by Clara. That's such a fun role. She does such an amazing job with it. Um, and she's kind of like very, very different from me. Clara is so like edgy and cool and just has this like it factor to her that I just like envy and like with so much admiration. Like it's like she's amazing and she's just the most wonderful human being, but she just plays Fern with just like this grit. And I love it. And I wish I could play it and but I could never do it as well as her. So probably that character or Charlotte, who Bronwyn plays, and it's just like so like airy, and she just has like this like beautiful, like very poetic way about her. So love those characters. And then in The Watchful Eye, maybe Kelly Bishop's character, Mrs. Ivy. I think she's so funny and just so dry, and I love her sense of humor. Like she's so snarky, and I just think she's hilarious. So maybe Mrs. Ivy, but like obviously I could never play her just because Kelly Bishop's legendary.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Mel, throwing back instead to the origins of your career as an actress, how did the passion for acting come about in your life?
Okay. Well, I think I was probably very theatrical from a young age, but I don't know if I like knew it. So I'm from Winnipeg, and I think growing up I just kind of felt like that was such an unrealistic goal being an actress. I was like, oh, if you want to be an actress, you have to be born in Hollywood, or New York or something like that. But when I was, let me think, several years ago, there was a movie that came to Winnipeg called A Dog's Purpose, and my mom saw this ad in the newspaper for extras, and she was like, "Oh, it's a dog movie. You love dogs, and um, and you love movies. You should apply." And so there was this huge, like, a casting call for like 2 or 3 thousand extras or something crazy like that. Um, at I think it was the Fairmont in Winnipeg, and we all lined up. And I think I went with my best friend, and we lined up for like 5 hours, and we got to the front of the line finally and handed them our little little application, and uh, and then I ended up getting chosen to do some extra work, and I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. And I got to set, and I fell in love with it. I loved being on set. I didn't care if I was a background actor. I mean, I thought that the actors' jobs looked so cool. But I just knew that no matter what I did, I was like, I need to be here in this environment for the rest of my life. Um, and so I had a friend that did modeling, and modeling and acting are very closely knit
Yeah.
together in Winnipeg. And so she set me up with this lady who could had some insight on how I could do more background work. And I met with her, and she was like, if you're interested in doing like a couple like lines, if a movie comes and they're looking for local actors, you should take this acting class. And so I went to this acting class, and one of my friends that I was actually doing a play with in high school took this class, so we went together. And then one of the weeks, someone who worked in one of the casting offices in Winnipeg came to watch and I guess look for young actors. And he said, you should come and audition for this movie. And I did. And I didn't get it, but I think I got pretty close on it. And I think they just kind of said, like, if this is something that you want to do, like, you should keep trying, because it seems like you really love it, and this might be something that you might be a good fit for you. And so I just kept trying, and then eventually they hired me. The casting directors in Winnipeg are so, so wonderful, and I love them to pieces. Um, and yeah, and now I'm here. So that was a very long story, but sorry.
A very beautiful story, though.
Thank you.
And is there any new upcoming projects that you can share with us? Something that
Ooh.
you're working on?
Not currently. There's a couple things that might be in the works, but nothing's confirmed yet. So I'm kind of just like holding my breath a little bit. But I have a couple movies that should be coming out hopefully soon. I did a movie called Time Cut a couple years ago that I heard should be coming out pretty soon, I hope. And then another movie called Dark Harvest, and they're both horror movies. And I did them both the same summer actually, summer of 2021 or 2022. I think it was 2021. Um, but yeah, they should be coming out soon. Hopefully, fingers crossed. They're both
Fingers crossed at all.
horror movies, so I don't I don't know if you're a horror fan, but yeah, both scary, I think. I know Dark Harvest definitely will be.
Yeah. And our last question, if you had to give some advice to young people who wants to pursue an acting career or a career in entertainment in general, may it be directing or writing or anything else, what kind of advice would you give them based on your own experience?
um, I would say have patience and trust in your own work. Um, I think it's so easy to um, get worked up over a result and an end goal, whether it's you're in an acting class and your performance isn't, or on set and your performance isn't coming out the way that you thought it would be, or you're not booking work, or you're not booking the jobs that you want. I think it's really hard to lose sight that how difficult this industry is and how difficult the craft can be. And I think it's really easy to beat ourselves up. Um, and I think that it's just a huge balance of luck, but also hard work and timing, and everything kind of has to fall into place. And so I would say just having patience. And if you're doing it for the right reasons and you love it with your entire heart and this is all you can think about doing, then I think you're in the right place. But just trust that everything will be okay and it'll all work out as it's supposed to. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Megan. It's been really a great pleasure to have you here and to chat with you about your work and your experiences.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here.
Let's remind people that the Watchful Eye is available to stream on Freeform, and BC Andrews Dawn premieres on Saturday, July 8th on Lifetime.
So thank you so much, Kiana.
Thank you again and have a good day.
You.
Bye.